right, the very last video of the semester. I miss you guys so much. I know most of y'all probably aren't even watching my videos anymore, but it'll be all right. Because I know with this corona, all y'all seniors are done watching me, and so my juniors and sophomores, if you still watching, I love y'all. Okay, so the very last thing we're going to review is talking about word problems with law of sines and law of cosines. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some examples, and then you'll have some practice problems. And again, this is all optional for extra credit, so this is not mandatory. So if you want to turn me off right now, go for it. Or if you want to continue and then do some practice ones and get that extra credit, you do your thing, okay? So first example, we've got Clint building a wooden swing set for his children. Each supporting end of the swing is set to be an A-frame. So A-frame looks like that. It usually, most of the time it'll have like that. It'll have like a little brace in between. With two 10-foot long 4x4s at a 45-degree angle. So 10 foot here, 10 foot here, and 45 degrees is where they meet at, okay? It says, to prevent the swing set from tipping over, Clint wants to make sure the base of each A-frame to concrete footings. How far apart should the footings for each frame be? So the footings are right here. So we want to know how far apart they need to be. All right, so here we're given side, angle, side. And I'm not given any matching angles and sides, which means that we have to use law of cosines. Okay, so we're looking for this side right here. So that's going to be x squared. It's equal to our side. So 10 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times our two sides, cosine of 45. Okay, so we plug that into our little handy dandy calculator. So 10 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 10 times 10 cosine of 45 gives me 58.57, and then we'll have to take the square root of that just because I don't have a lot of space. I'm going to go ahead and, oops. Second cosine, second answer. That is going to give me that x is equal to 7.65. So he needs 7.65 feet in between our footings. All right, so that's well, I guess that would be number 1, but it's listed at number 15. Number 16 says Amanda and Jamie are standing 25 feet apart. So we got Amanda, got her little dress. Hey girl, hey. Okay, that's Amanda. And then we got Jamie. I'm assuming Jamie's a girl as well. Give her some curls, okay? We got Jamie. They're standing 25 feet apart. And it says, they spot a bird in the sky between them. The angle of elevation from Amanda to the bird, so we got our little birdie here, to the bird is 55 degrees. And from Jamie to the bird is 63 degrees. How far away is the bird from Amanda? So we want to find that length of space between the bird and Amanda. So notice we're not given any matching angles and sides, but I'm given 2 of my angles, which means I can find the third one doing 180 minus 55 and 63. Which gives me 62 degrees. So this angle up here is 62 degrees, which now means I can use law of sines. So we've got 25 over sine of 62 is equal to x over sine of 63. And we cross multiply, so we know we're going to have to multiply 25 times sine of 63, which will give me 22.28 equals x sine of 62, and we'll divide by sine of 62 to both sides to give me that x is equal to 25.23 talking about feet. Yep, 25.23 feet is our final answer. So that is how far away Amanda is from the bird. All right, number 17. Parker must find the distance from point A to point B on the opposite sides of a lake. He locates point C, so we got point A and point B, okay? And he notices that point C is 860 feet away from point A and 175 feet from point B. And he measures that the angle at point C is 78 degrees. Find the distance from point A to point B. Okay, again, this is like number 15 where I don't have any matching sides and angles to each other. So I need to do law of cosines again. So that's going to be x squared equals our two sides. So 860 squared plus 175 squared minus 2 times 860 times 175 cosine of 78. So we plug that into our calculator, and then we square root it to give us that the 2 points are at 841.22 feet away from each other. Okay, so that's from both ends of the river. All right, then let's look at number 18. We have two ships sailing from Halifax. The Nina is sailing due east, so we're starting here, and the Nina is sailing due east. So we're at Halifax, and then the Nina is going east. And the Pinta is sailing 43 degrees south of east. So that's the Pinta, and it tells us 43 degrees here. After an hour, the Nina has traveled 115 kilometers. And then the Pinta has traveled 98 kilometers. How far apart are the two ships? So again, we don't have any matching angles and sides. So again, we have to do law of cosine. So that's x squared equals 115 squared plus 98 squared minus 2 times 115 times 98 cosine of 43. And then we square root it, which gives us that they are 79.65 kilometers away from each other. Okay. And then we have our last example where we have three friends are camping in the woods. We got Bert, Ernie, and Elmo. They each have their own tent and have tents set up in a triangle. So we've got Bert, we've got Ernie, and we've got Elmo. Okay? It says Bert and Ernie are 10 meters apart. So Bert and Ernie are 10 meters apart. The angle formed at Bert is 30 degrees. And the angle formed at Elmo is 105 degrees. How far apart are Ernie and Elmo? This time we have a matching side and angle. So that's going to be 10 over sine of 105 is equal to x over sine of 30. So we'll do our cross multiply. 10 sine of 30 is equal to 5 equals x sine of 105. And then we'll divide by sine of 105 to give us that x is equal to 5.18 meters. So that is how far away Bert and Ernie are from each other. Okay? So those are the first couple of examples on the first page. And then on our last page, we got 4 more examples to do. Okay? So, number 20. It says that we have 2 scuba divers that are 20 meters below the surface of the water, or 20 meters apart below the surface of the water. So we got diver 1, and I'm not about to try and act like I know how to draw a diver. So that's diver 1, and that's diver 2. They both spot a shark that is below them, so I'm going to just draw a little fishy. The angle of depression from diver 1 to the shark is 47 degrees. And then the angle of depression from diver 2 to the shark is 40 degrees. How far are each of the divers from the shark? So we need to find both from the distance from diver 1 and the distance from diver 2. Okay? And it says that they're 20 meters away from each other. Okay, so first thing we can do is we have two of our angles. Let's find that third one. So 180 minus 47 minus 40 gives me 93 degrees. Okay, so now we can find both of our sides. So we've got 20 over sine of 93, and then we'll find x first. So that's going to be equal to x over sine of 40. Okay, so we do our cross multiply, 20 sine of 40. And just because I don't have a lot of space, I'm going to go ahead and just do the work in the calculator. I'm going to divide by sine of 93. And so that's going to give me that x is equal to 12.87. I think that we're talking about meters. Yep, 12.7 meters. Okay. And then we do the same thing. And this time we'll do y. Oops, I forgot I meant to label this as y. Y over sine of 47. And so we'll do the same thing. 20 sine of 47 divided by sine of 93, which gives me that y is equal to 14.65 meters. So that is my two answers there. Okay. 3 more to go. Number 21, we have to estimate the length of a lake. Caleb starts at one end and walks 95 meters. So he starts out walking 95 meters. Okay. He then turns and walks on a new plane, which is 120 meters to the direction he was first walking. So he's starting out here, but then we're going to say he stops here. He's going to turn 120 degrees and start walking again, which means that we need to subtract that from 180. So 180 minus 120 gives me 60 degrees, okay? And then he walks 87 more meters, so 87 meters, okay? Until he arrives at the end of the lake. How long is the lake? Okay, so he walked. This type of problem when it tells you that somebody turns and starts walking another direction, that does not mean that this angle is 120. It means that this angle outside of here is 120, and then we subtract it to get 60 there. All right, so now we need to find that opposite side. Well, this is a problem where we have to do law of cosines because they are not, they don't have a matching side and angle to each other. So let's do that. So we've got x squared equals 95 squared plus 87 squared minus 2 times 95 times 87 cosine of 60. And then we do the square root. So that gives me x is equal to 91.26, we're talking about feet or meters? Meters. Okay. And that's your answer there. All right. So then the next one we have a 4-meter flag is not standing up straight. So we got this flag and it's not quite standing up straight. So it's 4 meters long though. And it says there is a wire that attaches to the top of the pole that is attached to the ground. The wire is 4.17 meters long. The wire makes a 68-degree angle with the ground. So 68 degrees goes right here. What angle does the flag make with the wire? So we want to know this angle right here. Okay. So what we have to do first, before we can find this angle, because we have here and here and this side, we don't have this side. So we need to find this angle so we can subtract from 180. So I'm going to label this as y. So we got to find y first. So we'll do 4 over sine of 68 is equal to 4.17 over sine of y. Okay, and so that is going to give me 4.17 sinus 68. And so, again, I don't have a lot of room to show work, so I'm going to go ahead and divide. You know that these two would be multiplied, so I'm going to divide by 4 to both sides. And then because we need to find our angle, we have to do the arc sine of that answer to give us y is equal to 75 degrees. So this angle over here is 75, but I need this angle up here. So I'm going to do 180 minus 75 minus 68 to give me that x is equal to 37 degrees. And that is my answer there. Okay. Last problem. We got a triangular playground that's got the side lengths of 475 feet. We've got 595 feet and 401 feet. And we want to know the angle of the measures between the sides to the nearest of a degree. So we need all the side lengths. I'm going to label this as A, B, and C. And so when you have all the sides, that means you have to use law of cosine. So I'm going to start by looking for angle A first, okay? So that's going to be, we use 595, so 595 squared equals 475 squared plus 401 squared minus 2 times 475 times 401 cosine, I don't have a lot of space, of A. Okay? And so we start simplifying. And so that's 354025 equals 475 squared plus 401 squared. That's 386,426 minus 2 times 475 times 401 gives me 380,950 cosine of A. So the first thing you would do is subtract this 38,000. So 35,425 or 354,025 minus 386,426. All right, then we divide. And so that gives me 0.085. So we do the arc cosine of that to give us 85 degrees. So A is equal to 85 degrees.